It's been 11 years since the terrorist attacks that changed our country, and many of us, we can remember it like it was yesterday. And as Anthony Sabella reports, that's all too true for a New York City native whose life could have turned out a lot differently that day.
One plane hit, and then the second hit, and then everyone was devastated.
It's hard to believe it's been 11 years since a terrorist attack changed our nation forever. But ask anyone, and they can still tell you where they were that fateful morning.
I was at work. I was working at LOPC and going to nursing school.
I was out in Rockaway Beach, Queens.
For David Ungar, listening to the bagpipes play Amazing Grace at a ceremony in Lansing Tuesday morning was especially difficult. Originally from New York City, he was supposed to be at work in Manhattan that day, right by the World Trade Center.
I had given my employer a couple of weeks' notice that I was leaving on September 15th to take care of my father in Florida. And on the 7th of September, he gave me 2 weeks' pay and told me to take the second week off, or I would have been 5 blocks away.
Instead, Ungar got a call from his father at 11 a.m. telling him to turn on the TV.
It took me hours to wrap my head around it. I just couldn't fathom it.
But the pain would go deeper than that.
I knew about a half a dozen people who died in and around the Trade Center.
For those here in Michigan that day, the shock is still there, even 11 years later.
The courage it took for people to save other people's lives definitely should never be forgotten.
In Lansing, Anthony Sabella, Fox 47 News.
Ungar lived in an apartment complex with a dozen New York police officers and firefighters who died in the attacks. Michigan International Speedway honored the heroes and victims of 9/11 Tuesday. The Spirit of America had several tributes, including some 3,000 American flags to represent each victim. Organizers say the event wasn't just about remembering that tragic day, but also about teaching others.
We've got young kids coming in from the middle school, and for those folks, this is just a true educational opportunity. And then a remembrance and reflection for those of us that firsthand remember what happened.
The blood drive was canceled this year because of contract issues with the Red Cross. We're told that it could return next year.